In the meantime, let's talk about tanking, because tanking has become a way to say losing in kind of a cute version. And losing in a fashion where you should, by most accounts, win. And listen, I know it's becoming hard, at least for me, watching a game with my 4-year-old and trying to tell him that, yeah, the 3 players you got in your teeny mates last week are not hurt. They're just not playing because it doesn't help their team's draft lottery chances. What? It's a strategy that has seemingly worked. Look at Oklahoma City. Look at the Pistons, 2 teams with the best record in a conference and a past history of tanking. So how do we fix it? The league has some ideas. We'll get to those in a minute. But for now, Suns owner Mat Ishbia doesn't want to hear any of this and said this on X. This is ridiculous. Tanking is losing behavior done by losers. Purposely losing is something nobody should want to be associated with. Embarrassing for the league and for the organizations. And the talk about this is a, quote, strategy. Ridiculous. This is much worse than any prop bet scandal. This is throwing games strategically. Horrible for fans that pay to watch and cheer on their team, and horrible for all the real teams that are competing for playoff spots. You kind of said this yesterday, Perk.
I didn't kind of say it. I said it. It is throwing games. It's an embarrassment to the league. And thank you, Mat Ishbia, because he gets it. But we got to remember, he was the guy that came into the league and try to buy his way to winning the championship.
He's learned the error of his ways.
Yeah. So again, when you think about it, it affects so many areas. What's one of the major things when it comes to sports now?
Betting.
It's gambling. Mm-hmm. It's gambling. And so you got to be careful when you're trying to throw games to that aspect. I agree. Something needs to be happening when you have to fix it. Not getting rid of the draft, that's ridiculous to me. I said it yesterday. Mm-hmm. But I agree wholeheartedly with Mat Ishbia on this topic and this point. That's a great point. It is throwing games and trying to lose.
Losing behavior, man.
I mean, it's unfair to the ecosystem, right? To your point, your son's invested. People are paying money to come see teams play. Like, it is... it's disheartening, and it's just ugly to watch. Like, it's just boring to watch. Now, I will say all of these solutions that are coming out, I believe it when I see it, because I think we've been having anti-tanking rules and discussions. Like, currently there are things in place. I know we got the fines we saw a couple of weeks ago, but somehow, some way, these front offices still find a way to navigate it, and the league has not come down heavy enough.
You got some people that talked about, just pull from a hat all 30 teams while the world is watching, and that might be a solution. Me personally, I'm not overreacting to the tanking the way some people are. I don't approve of it. I don't like it. I've never liked it. But you've always understood, like, for example, you watching the National Football League and the worst team gets the first overall pick. And then you have fans saying, what the hell are you winning for? You don't even know how to lose, when it comes to the Giants or another team or whatever. Yeah. Because, you got a guy like, Fernando Mendoza, for example, available in the draft, and you're looking at the Las Vegas Raiders positioning themselves to get the #1 overall pick because they were losing, and somebody would, late in the season, why aren't you losing? So the same things that fans are complaining about, they're clamoring for when their team is in a position to get a high draft pick based on the rules that are in place. So I don't approve of it. I don't like it. But I don't think that's nearly as big of a problem as load management. And I know that load management to some degree can infiltrate things. It can infiltrate its way into tanking because, again, sitting people down and stuff like that. But we got cats that are exercising in load management first month of the season. And you got guys coming into the season letting you know ahead of time there's going to be 20 to 25 games they missed after they had 5 months off. To me, that is a more glaring problem than actually tanking to get a high draft pick. I'm not saying that again, I don't support tanking, but I'm saying it's not as big of a problem as the load management issue.
The only thing is that with the NFL, they're starting to do that towards the end of the season. Like, we're seeing teams do this before even the second half. Sure. Like we saw in the first half of the season in the middle of a game. Like, it's become an issue now early on, and I think that's what's made it more alarming.
Well, let me tell you, when it comes to load management and you talk about teams having a plan before the season for certain players, it's because, let's be honest, the entire league is pissed off about playing 82 games. They feel like it's too many games. So what ended up happening is because—
As players or everybody?
Everybody. Because what's happening is teams, organizations are going into seasons and they're looking at the schedule ahead of time. And they have so many, quote unquote, doctors and scientists and specialists that are behind the scenes that are looking at the schedule and saying, well, if we're going to be playing 5 games in 7 nights. I think that following week, Kawhi needs to rest on this day. Like, they're getting this information from somebody else, right, that they didn't hire inside of the organization. But I go back to the tanking part of things. Before I won the NBA championship in 2008, I was on one of the worst teams in NBA history. Mm-hmm. We lost 18 games in a row. We wasn't tanking. We was just trash. Mm-hmm. We was actually trying to win games. We had one of the youngest teams in NBA history, but we couldn't find a way to win games. Every time we stepped on the floor, we was getting our ass kicked. But we wasn't trying to get our ass kicked. And then we just started accepting that we just can't win games. And then I look at a situation with the Detroit Pistons. You remember a time right
28?
before?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But
we were all there.
But they wasn't trying to lose.
That's right.
Kay Cunningham and those guys were available on the floor.
Yeah.
You hear him talk
We're
about
not 2 and 16 bad. I remember.
No, but you remember he talked about it. He was talking about how depressed he was and how upset he was. He kept trying. They kept preaching about they trying to get over the hump. So again, it is an issue. I'm with Ishbia on this one. It is a loser mentality, and it's something that we got to clean.
Well, I will say this, couple of things. I'm actually even more depressed that you brought up how the Pistons were losing a few years ago. Like they lost 28 straight or whatever the number was, because that kind of pain is something that they hold on to, and they're like, it will never happen again.
Especially
K. Exactly, especially K,
Yeah.
which contributes to his greatness, which means the Knicks are even in more trouble. Okay, that's number one.
Come on.
Even more trouble, right? So I'm depressed about that. But here's the thing. When you talk about teams and you talk about how he wasn't trying to lose, stuff like that, here's where we have to be mindful of it. It's like, yeah, you're not, they weren't trying to lose, whereas you got teams now that are trying to lose. Then they're trying to lose, and they're trying to lose early. And I don't want to hear some damn complaint about how they all hate 82 games. Did you hate the 82 games when you was trying to get to the NBA? Did you hate the 82 games when you saw the money associated with it? See, that's one of the things, like, for example, I am a huge, huge fan of the great Greg Popovich, right? We know the championships, he's won, whatever. But Greg Popovich used to be a dude. I mean, could you believe it? There was a time when I sat down for lunch with Greg Popovich at a bar in Utah. You would never think you'd see him talking to a reporter like that in today's day. You understand what I'm saying? Because things have changed, but he changed too. And so the point is that you get to a point where you didn't want back-to-backs, and you know what? You didn't like what Commissioner Stern was trying to invoke to help uplift and promote the game. But the very game that you were lamenting is one you craved to be a part of. You wanted to be a coach on an elite level. You wanted to coach a franchise. You wanted to run a franchise. You knew it was 82 games then. You knew it was back-to-backs then. See, the point is when we got cats that want to step up and complain about stuff that you profited and benefited off of, that's where I have a problem with. That's like, if stuff changed after you arrived, that's different. Mm-hmm. But you played and won championships, Steve Kerr, as a player in Chicago and San Antonio. Before you coach, you was also a GM essentially running a franchise. Mike D'Antoni should have listened to you and brought Tom Thibodeau over there as your defensive coordinator instead of letting him get to Boston with Doc Rivers to help y'all win a championship in 2008. You know all of this stuff. You wasn't complaining. And then it's amazing to me how cats want to complain about the conditions under which they have to work now, but you were clamoring and craving for it before you got it. And then once you got the success, now you want to bitch and moan about it. Nah, this is what comes with it. Figure out a way to work around the 82 games. Michael Jordan and others sometimes, listen, Michael Jordan's like, I'm tired today. Phil said, can you give me a quarter? Can you give me a quarter? Michael's like, I'll give you a quarter. Now, after that, he sat down the rest of the game. There are ways. All right, I don't feel like practicing. All right, that's fine. There's ways to work around it, because to give up the amount of games is to give up some money, which they ain't trying to do.
I hear you. And I don't want this to become like a super philosophical conversation, but it feels like that's just human nature. As soon as you get to something, then you're trying to figure out how to revamp and improve it, whichever way you work. Because you just
revamp and improve or lessen the load.
Well, that's what I'm saying is you said figure out how to work around the 82 games. In players and coaches' minds, they have figured out this thing called load management, where they get with the medical staff and they go calculate when they.
But is that working around it, or is that cheating the product?
Well, my thing is two things. One, Greg Popovich, the greatest coach one of the greatest coaches.
Phenomenal, absolutely.
Phenomenal human being. But he started this whole load, man.
That part.
That's right.
By the way.
That part.
Number two, Monica, I'm not trying to hear none of that. I'm not trying to hear none of that. I'm about the whole 82 games.
Oh, okay.
You know why? Because you get paid to put your body on the line. This is why you get paid top dollar. Your responsibility right now, if you're an NBA player, is to make sure that you hold up the standard and continue to do what you need to do so the next generation could be straight too. It's a reason that guys are getting paid 30, 40, 50, 70 million dollars. It's because like Kobe, Jordan, KG, those guys paved the way. They wasn't complaining about 82 games.
I hear you.
I don't want to hear it.
And not only that,
Final word.
this is the big thing. You can miss 20 games a year. You're not feeling it, you're not healthy, whatever. When you walk into a season after signing the contract and basically declaring you're going to miss 20 to 25 games,
Right.
Damn! So in other words, hey, I got this contract. I'm going to take about, I'm going to be off about 3 months. I mean, before I start? Really? That's what we see people doing, and that's the problem. If you hurt, you hurt. If you hurt, you hurt. But you can't go, you can't go. But when you walk into a situation before those conditions have engulfed you, and your mentality is, I'm going to get time off already, now that's different. That's different.
I think the players have been better about this in the last season.
Yeah, they don't have no choice.
And there's
That's
also
what I'm
more
saying.
rules.
They got to play 65 games.
Well, yeah, but I don't.
I think load management is more of an issue. As taking. That's all I said.
I don't. And I just,
You don't
I
think
guess
it's
I
better?
disagree
You don't
with
think
that.
it's a bigger
No,
issue than taking?
it's-
No, I don't think it's a big.
You don't think so?